FDA approves dramatic increase of monkeypox vaccine as virus are doubling weekly. The current monkeypox outbreak is testing the limits of available vaccine doses. With the weekly update last Wednesday, the CDC was reporting just under 12,000 cases in the United States. Last week's data shows that there was a massive jump in new cases at the start of this month, as there were reported 289 new cases reported on August 3rd and 1,391 new cases reported a week later on August 10th. The FDA has approved intradermal injection or injection into the skin itself. Normally, the vaccine will be injected via the subcutaneous method, where the drug is injected into the fat between your skin and muscular connective tissue. With the intradermal method, 1/5 of the vaccine can be used. This will hopefully help preserve the vaccine supply. Some areas have reduced vaccine distribution to 1 dose instead of the usual 2, which offers about 85% of protection for 2 years. Experts hope that even the reduced protection will help stop the current outbreak.
I have to say, I actually thought you were a doctor with your pronunciation of those injection
I'm
words.
not a doctor, but I watched every season of ER.
But you have to wonder if this was affecting like majority straight population. Would this be the same response, or is this simply just a reflection of them overlooking the gay community again?
Yeah, and it's like we learned nothing from COVID. I mean, the World Health Organization took weeks to declare this a pandemic, even when it has been across the world. We don't have enough vaccinations in supply. What happens when there's a virus that unleashes itself on the public that is much more deadly than monkeypox, much more deadly than COVID? Will we be as unprepared as we seem to have been now?
What's interesting too with this is that the vaccine comes from one lab in I think it's Denmark, somewhere in Scandinavia, that's actually undergoing renovation. So they're unable to produce as much as they can. Plus with the supply chain issues that are happening all over the world, it's just not able to get out. And the United States is buying most of them. So we're actually getting, I think, as much as we possibly can get. How to distribute that fairly is really the question.
And then you get into the inequity as well between rich nations and poorer nations.
Absolutely.
I mean, monkeypox has been a standard in parts of Africa for forever, and we can afford as Americans to buy more, inoculations. The rest of the world is left to struggle.
Yeah, and speaking of buying, as the resident yogi in the group, I want to encourage all of us here and our viewers not to buy into the politics of fear, to take a step back and to remind ourselves that we'll be safe, we'll be protected, to breathe, and to anchor in a practice that brings us peace, and to not panic in the moments of the politics of fear really taking hold of our psyches and our phones and our time.
Yeah, well, and to that end, it's important to remember that this is not a deadly disease. This is terrible for the people who have it, but it's not something like coronavirus that's going to kill hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Ebola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LGBTQ+ news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+ community.